Wonder Woman is the fourth movie in the DC Extended Universe. In Wonder Woman, a princess from an Amazon island wants to help fight in World War I after a World War I soldier washes up on shore. When she learns of a potential secret involving her island, she wants to get involved. I'll tell you something, guys. I had no expectations for this movie. I went in with very low expectations, despite what the reviews say, because I have not been a fan of the DC Extended Universe or Cinematic Universe or whatever the hell you want to call it. Despite liking, not loving, Man of Steel upon first viewing, I have grown to despise Man of Steel as a movie. I absolutely, totally hate this atrocity bullshit that was Batman v Superman, and Suicide Squad was just eh. In my eyes, the DC Extended Universe was 0 for 3. Marvel was, and still is, in my opinion, kicking their ass at every facet of the game. I'm not going to go into detail as to why I hate this cinematic universe so much. I already did a video discussing that. You can check that out, the problem with the DC Extended Universe. I know that was a risky video. There are DC fans out there. Those were just my thoughts. I walked into this movie thinking, DC is going to let me down. I walked out saying this: DC was 0 for 3. Now, they're 1 for 4. Gotta give them a clap. They did it. DC and Warner Brothers pulled it off. They actually fucking did it. Finally. Finally. Wonder Woman surprised the shit out of me. This is the best DC film we have gotten since The Dark Knight Rises. My biggest worry going into this movie was how Gal Gadot was going to hold up as a lead actress. She killed it. She had the physical physique for Wonder Woman. She pulled off all the stunts very well. Her acting was spot on in this movie. Chris Pine, arguably the best part of the movie, but he and Gal Gadot have an insane amount of chemistry together. It was awesome. This is an origin story, so this really tells you where Wonder Woman came from. You don't have to watch Batman v Superman to understand this movie. This stands on its own. There are connections to Batman v Superman. There are a couple of scenes that do connect it, but for the most part, it doesn't involve anything with the plot. So you're in the safe there if you haven't seen Batman v Superman. Biggest praises that I have for this movie are the story, the characters, and the entertainment value. It's no secret in these DC Extended Universe movies that these characters have little to no development, no matter who they are. I hate Superman in these movies. But Wonder Woman fixed that problem. It gives you a reason to actually care about Wonder Woman. It gives you a reason to actually care about Chris Pine's character. It gives you an actual reason to care about the entire situation that they're trying to take down. It was so refreshing to see some DC characters fleshed out. Almost all of them are fleshed out, except for the villains. I'll get into the villains later. Scenes just add so much depth to these characters. Like, there's this one scene where Wonder Woman is talking to this Irish guy, and he tells her something. And I was just like, that just added so much to his character. And stuff like that was absent from the last 3 movies in the cinematic universe. This movie is also really grounded in its storytelling. It takes its time to tell its story. There aren't crazy, huge, extravagant action scenes. Well, there are. There's 3 main action set pieces, but I mean, they're sprinkled throughout the movie. They're far in between. For a good hour, there was little to no violence in the movie, but I didn't care because I was so invested in the characters, and the plot was moving along at a good pace, where I was just like, when the violence comes, it's going to be earned. Speaking of the characters, Wonder Woman is very inspirational in this movie. Something Superman should have been in the past 2 movies. Wonder Woman is more inspirational than Superman. How is that possible? Bad against Wonder Woman as a character is just, I would think it would be Superman that would be the one that inspired, and then she would be just, tacking on the secondary inspiration. So more inspired by Wonder Woman as opposed to Superman. That tells me that this movie is doing something right, and Man of Steel and Batman v Superman did something completely wrong. I'll tell you what though, I got the feels from Wonder Woman's inspiration in this movie. And this movie knows when to have fun, something the other 3 didn't know how to do, and that is they added humor, and the humor really worked in this movie. When Wonder Woman's going through, our everyday world, although in like World War I era, she's like, it's so funny because she thinks like everything is like how the Amazon warriors do it, and she's like, this is so much different. Her trying to adjust to human life was hilarious to watch. The movie is well shot too. Cinematography is really good, and it's colorful. The dark color saturation palette from the previous 3 movies is like completely gone. Thank God. There are some problems I do have with the movie, no doubt. The movie always has problems. One of them, the big one, being the villains. This has been a problem for Marvel, but more, in my opinion, for DC. Whereas Marvel has had weaker villains, I feel as though their villains were functional, even though they were really weak, where I feel like DC hasn't even had a good solid villain yet. That kind of holds true in this movie, although the villain is a little bit more functional. But when your villain name is Dr. Poison, I don't think anybody should take you seriously. CGI, I really noticed, pretty bad, especially in that third act. It was mostly in that third act. There were a couple other instances where I was like, that could have been cleaned up, but it was mostly in that third act where I was just like, this CGI is shoddy. Like, it looks bad. Thanks to Zack Snyder's involvement, yeah, the slow-mo action scenes, they are back, and you already know I hate them. I'm not going to talk about them. I hate them. I've seen some people say that the slow-mo works for the movie, although I'm kind of torn on that, because I think you honestly could have done away with them and it wouldn't have changed the style or the tone of the movie. Those are my 3 biggest gripes with this movie. Other than that, this movie is fantastic. This is the movie DC needed to really bank on for Justice League. This is a huge boost for them going into Justice League. Walked in praying, clinging on hope that this movie would be good. I walked out immensely satisfied, very entertained. I am going to give Wonder Woman a B+. DC finally did it, guys, and I hope they keep it up with Justice League. That production has been plagued. Sorry to hear about Zack Snyder. Joss Whedon is coming in, so I'm hoping that's good, but this is a definite step in the right direction for both DC and Warner Brothers. So have you seen Wonder Woman? I want some feedback. Drop me a comment in the comment section below. And you can like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter. You're on YouTube, subscribe at the end of this video, and check out some other videos I have done, and I'll see you next time.